This video is powered by BetUS. Bears head coaching candidates narrowing down the list and finding the top guys. What's up, guys? We've had a crazy week of Bears news and NFC North happenings. I wanted to catch you up on everything and try to narrow down our extensive list of coaching candidates. The Bears are interested in nearly 20 guys to be the next head coach. I'm going to try to narrow that down. Let's go ahead and get right into it. First off, let's start by quickly catching up on some Bears related news. The Lions lost last night, meaning the NFC North went 0-3 in the playoffs, and Jared Goff proved he was who we thought he is. Meanwhile, Cliff Kingsbury called a masterful game, and he led rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels to his second playoff victory and to the NFC Championship game. I think Cliff Kingsbury has to be taken as a serious candidate. Meanwhile, both Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn are now free to be hired immediately following the Lions' loss last night. And then a couple more news tidbits before we get into the coaching candidates. If you missed it, Ian Cunningham will not be going to the Titans as their new GM. Odds are he will be back to the Bears for one more season. The Bears also interviewed Eddie George in person today, the Titans Hall of Fame running back. I talked about that in a video earlier. One reason why this might be significant, though, is that it's our second in-person interview with a minority candidate, meaning the Bears have officially met the requirements for the Rooney Rule. This means the Bears can officially now hire their next head coach whenever they are ready, that is. Some people now expect the Bears to move quickly finding the next head coach. I definitely could see the Bears start to ramp up the process now, but I don't think they're going to hurry themselves. But with teams interested in both Mike McCarthy and Ben Johnson, the Bears might proceed with a bit more urgency, especially with the Lions being eliminated from playoff contention. This is especially true if they like Ben Johnson as much as the media suggests. I talked about it last week about how we're still early in the process, and I still believe that. But things are beginning to move forward. And depending on what happens in tonight's Ravens-Bills game that is on right now, either Todd Monken or Joe Brady will also be available to hire starting tomorrow. Another important note here is that any coordinator that was in the playoffs has not been allowed to do in-person interviews until tomorrow, that is. Things change on January 20th, and on top of that, Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, and others have had their seasons end. So they're not only available to interview, but they're available to hire right away. Let's remember that the odds for the Bears' next head coach are going to be changing every single day. But one way you can keep an eye on that is by heading over to BetUS and checking out who the current odds-on favorite is. You can also take advantage of their prop builders and parlays, as well as NFL draft and off-season bets as well. But also be sure to claim your 200% sign-up bonus for BetUS.com's casino. But did you know that BetUS also has a casino? It's not just sports betting. For all my subscribers who like slots or live casino dealers, be sure to take advantage of BetUS's amazing offer. They have a sign-up bonus of 200% up to $5,000. Make sure to check out BetUS. But okay, let's go ahead and narrow this list down. I'm eliminating the ones that I consider long shots. These are my top 10 favorites to be the next head coach of the Chicago Bears. Honestly, out of these 10, I would probably put all 6 of the offensive candidates first. So in no particular order, these would be my top 6. Ben Johnson, Mike McCarthy, Cliff Kingsbury, Joe Brady, Todd Monken, and David Shaw. We just saw Ben Johnson and Cliff Kingsbury go head-to-head in a classic divisional round matchup. And now I'm watching Joe Brady and Todd Monken battle it out, and one of these guys is going to be available to hire tomorrow as well. And then the other two are Mike McCarthy and David Shaw. Shaw is the only one I really haven't talked about yet, so I did want to talk about him briefly. He has worked with some legendary coaches. He started his career working underneath John Gruden with the Raiders for 3 years, and then he worked underneath Bill Belichick before joining Jim Harbaugh's staff at Stanford. When Harbaugh went to coach the 49ers, Shaw took over and was Stanford's head coach for 11 seasons. He stepped down after the 2022 season, took a year off of football, and then he became a member of the Broncos front office in 2024. Shaw is a very respected, offensive minded football coach, so I don't want to overlook David Shaw. He's probably the one I've talked about the least, but these are my favorites to be the Bears' next head coach. After a crazy weekend, this is where I'm at right now. And whoever loses this game tonight between the Bills and the Ravens might just cement themselves as a top three candidate. Right now, it's Ben Johnson, Todd Monken, Joe Brady, Mike McCarthy, David Shaw, and Cliff Kingsbury. The reason why Kingsbury has actually fallen down for me is because they won the game. And if they go to the Super Bowl, I think that actually lowers our chances of hiring him. Now that things have changed and a lot has happened this weekend, I really do not think the Bears want to wait until after the Super Bowl to hire a new coach. I thought they might be willing to if the Lions and Ben Johnson went to the Super Bowl. But now that the Lions have lost and we have a plethora of candidates available, I expect this process to begin moving forward this week. As far as the defensive candidates, Pete Carroll, Brian Flores, Aaron Glenn, and Anthony Weaver, those guys stand out as my four favorites. But like I've said all along, I still want an offensive minded coach, and that's why I rank these other six guys ahead of the four defensive candidates. I do think a lot is going to change over the next 72 hours. I think by the middle of this week or by Friday at the latest, we should actually have this list narrowed down to five candidates or maybe even a top three. I think that's coming pretty soon. I think this process is going to kick into high gear this week. I think there's going to be a lot of news, a lot of rumors, and we're going to announce a lot of second interviews as well. Which of these candidates do you expect to get a second interview? I think Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn are shoe-ins, and I think there's a possibility that Joe Brady or Todd Monken really move up the list as well. So if you guys missed it, I did some awesome videos this weekend. Last night, I did a video where I went in depth and broke down Cliff Kingsbury and Ben Johnson. I compared them as coaches, went through their history, and did a breakdown. I did that because they were going head to head. And then tonight, I did one on Todd Monken and Joe Brady. So that's four of our top candidates that I've went in depth with and talked about. Make sure you guys check out those videos. Let me know who your favorite candidate is. And if you have a sleeper candidate as well, throw them out. I believe this is the week that things really start to get going. And after that, we have the Senior Bowl next week. So I know Ryan Poles wants to get this done. I appreciate everyone who watches. Please remember to hit that like button for me. Stay tuned. Enjoy the NFL playoffs. And until next time, bear down. Quick shout out to BetUS for sponsoring today's video.